Hi everyone, it's RAXX bringing the much anticipated Season 25 class tier list video. The Soul Shard theme is going to be a huge power boost. There's a lot of changes through a lot of the classes in the game, so we're going to see how everything shakes up. For those of you that have been here before, you will know my tier list format. There have been a few changes, and actually, when I got a new computer a while ago, I lost my PowerPoint. So I have had to rebuild it, and I'm hoping that you'll find the new design a little bit more modernized and a little bit easier to read. I would appreciate your feedback in the comments on what you think about it. Anyway, no more talking. Let's get straight into it about exactly where everything lands. Let's quickly discuss the methodology on how we come up with this tier list. First of all, every class will be ranked from first, which is the best, to 7th in all of the categories below. The Season 25 theme and all of the recent patch notes will be included in these rankings. Speed is a class's ability to clear T16 rifts, bounties, and low-level GRs, with a heavier emphasis on that last part, the low-level GRs, because every class nowadays can dominate T16 rifts and bounties very quickly. Solo push will be their ability and quality of life in playing and pushing the solo leaderboards. Group DPS has been renamed. It used to be Group, but Group DPS seems to make a lot more sense because it will be the damage that they can deal and what meta role they fill, whereas support, of course, has to be in groups. You can't support yourself because you don't do any damage, but that will be the more helpful role in groups and where classes fit in for that. Casuals is pretty self-explanatory. How far this class can progress with minimal game time and or skill. We usually target less than 5 hours a week. And then finally, an overall summary of where does this class land. And one question that I get all the time, Rax, why don't you just add up the numbers on all the above categories and average them, and that will give you the overall ranking? The reason why is we're trying to do this in a much more intelligent way. Just because a class gets 7th in solo push and another class gets 5th, they might still both clear 150, as will be the case in this season, but maybe a class is 1st in support and the other one is 5th, and that's a tremendous difference. That's one example of why we don't just average them. But one thing I want to call out here, which is very important, is at the bottom, the golden rule of Diablo is play whatever is fun to you. I want you to enjoy your time in whatever way you want to play. Don't let my tier list or any other resource that you read tell you how to have fun. Let's quickly go over the Season 25 patch notes and theme. That way we know exactly why all the classes moved up and down. First, starting with the Soul Shard theme, you'll be able to socket Soul Shards that you find throughout the season and upgrade them and place them into your helmet and weapon. This is going to boost all classes by at least 10 Greater Rift tiers, and it will be arguably the strongest theme we've ever had. I can absolutely guarantee you that every class will solo GR 150, and in a lot of cases with multiple builds next season. For Barbs, they got a significant buff to Hammer of the Ancients. It's going to be a fantastic build, but it's not going to be their best. Their best will still be Whirlwind. There were no changes for Crusader. On Demon Hunter, they got a powerful Marauder rework. It's going to be a top tier build. And Impale also got a buff. It'll be a little bit stronger. No changes on the Monk. Necro's got a significant buff to the Rathma set. That build is going to be viable for them now. Witch Doctor's got a powerful Arashir rework. The Corpse Spider build is very powerful, very good at killing bosses. And they also got 2 item buffs with Lakumbas and Shukranis, which are going to apply to a lot of the other builds. So Witch Doctors across the board should be better. Wizard for mirror images, they can no longer trigger Firebirds. This is going to be a big nerf to Wizards. Firebirds is going to come down, but it still will be a very nice build, at least A tier, and that it will be a playstyle upgrade. You don't have to rely on the stupid mirror image AI anymore. Then in other news, pets now properly spawn Oculus rings. This is fantastic news for builds like the Ina Mystic Ally Monk. who is going to rule the world next season. Spoiler alert. And Depth Diggers will now apply to all primary skills. Starting in number 7, remember all those buffs that the Witch Doctor got across the board and those items that they're all going to use and the brand new set that they got? Sat there for hours and hours and hours with my stream today, and we came up with they are still the worst. But they are a lot better, so they're probably still the worst, but not the worst, compared to how they were previous seasons. In speeds, their speeds didn't really increase. It's the same thing. They're still last. They're not really any faster. You could argue maybe Shukrani's is going to help them a little bit. The Arashir Witch Doctor is not particularly fast, so there was no increase there. So they're still last. In solo push with a Witch Doctor, if you are a godly player and you have a ton of Paragon, Witch Doctor might have one of the absolute best 150 clears next season. In fact, it's not even impossible that they might have the second best one. I don't think they're going to beat the Monk, but they might even finish number 2. The problem is you have to be really powerful and you have to be a very good player. And it's just not going to be feasible for most players. So in solo push, they are getting better, but they're still kind of in the middle of the road. In group DPS, there are 2 ways to think about this category. You can either think about speeds, which they are not very good in. Again, Spirit Barrage is pretty slow. Arashir is kind of slow as well. But if the Ina Mystic Ally Monk did not exist, they would be by far the best high-end trash clearer in the game. So Witch Doctors are just licking their lips, waiting for monks to be nerfed, and then they will be amazing. Support, same story as always. The Witch Doctor is not a great support. There are many other better options. And for casuals, it's not good news either. Again, you need a lot of gear, you need a lot of power. The Arashir build, the Corpse Spider build, if you can put that together, it will certainly do well for you. Don't worry about it. It'll plow, but it's not very fast and it's not as powerful as some of the other options. We put all that together, and I'm sorry, this is supposed to be the season where Witch Doctors rise to power. It's not going to happen. They're still last. Their best builds this season are Spirit Barrage, Arashir, and Zuni Dagger of Darts, that's the build I'm expecting to get the best 150 solo. And for next season, I would love it if they would buff Witch Doctor pets and somehow increase their speed. Their builds are very slow to get going unless you're playing Chicken, but Chicken does 2 damage, so we need something better than that. Coming in at number 6, and it's hard for me to put this class all the way down in 6, but I had a big debate about it, and this is where they landed. It is the Necromancer. Now, the Necromancer it's kind of give and take. It's very powerful in some areas and very weak in others. In speeds, the Rat Necro can destroy T16 and bounties like anybody else can. That's the problem. All the other classes have a speedy build. That's not a huge selling point for them. So then we look at how good are they at farming speed greater rifts to grind paragons? And the answer is not that great. It's not as good as a lot of the other choices for the other classes. I mean, what are you going to play here? Are you going to play the Rat Necro? The Rat Necro is super low quality of life, and you will get one-shotted by anything that hits you. Maybe you play the new Rathma set. That's an option. That's not a top-tier build, though. Maybe you're going to play the Bone Spear, but that got nerfed as well. It's just not great news. In solo push, Necromancers have one of the most powerful solo pushing builds in the game. Corpse Explosion. It dominates. You will be able to annihilate a 150 solo with it next season. But nobody plays this build. And this build is kind of hard to play. You have to play around some big cooldowns, and nobody likes to do that. They don't have a solo push build that's just easy to get it done. That's why they're all the way down in 6th. So now let's go over to the good news for Necromancers. In groups, they have rats, and rats are going to be amazing next season. Again, if the Ina Mystic Ally Monk wasn't so good, it would be the best thing that you could possibly do. But a lot of people don't like to play rats. Rats have been around forever, they're sick of it, and if you're a new player, it's sometimes hard to get into rat runs, and because you get one-shotted by everything, and you need to learn how to do maximum DPS and fly. But they are super good at it, and they're one of the best trash clearers if you don't have a Witch Doctor or a Monk. So That's why they're all the way up in 2. And the Z-Neck is an amazing support. Again, it's usually falling a little bit by the wayside because of Barbs and Demon Hunters, but it's still a fantastic support. For casuals, it's bad news. You have a bad starter set. And what do you hope to build into? Are you going to play a Rat? Well, you're going to die every rift. Are you going to play Rathma? I mean, that's fine, but it's nothing really to look forward to. It's the worst in the game. Overall, put all that together, Necromancers have dropped 1 slot down to 6th, but if you want to do Rats or you want to play the Z-Neck, they're fantastic. Their best builds are LOD Mages, which is the Rat, the new Rathma set, Corpse Explosion, and Z-Necking. In Season 26, the Necro sets suck. The best set for a Necro is probably Legacy of Dreams, which is the gem. All their sets, I think, need some love. We have in 5th place the Crusader. Now, the Crusader has a ton of power, especially with their bomb build. Their bomb build is so good. The bomb build will flatten a 150 like it's nothing. But Crusaders don't seem to be a very popular class, and in all the categories, they just seem to be a little bit outclassed here and there by different builds, so they never can quite make their way to the top. For speeds, they're pretty good. Again, T16 and bounties, every class can detonate that. Again, with the bomb build, it's very, very good. You pony forward and you drop barrels and you kill everything. It hits so hard. Any Crusader playing that is going to do very well. Same thing with solo push. Heaven's Fury will be able to clear 150 as well, so will Invoker, and it won't be that challenging. You will be able to do it quite easily. Satyrs have always been good at the solo pushing leaderboards. In group DPS, same thing we were talking about earlier. You can drop barrels. It's very good. Is it better than the Rat speeds? No. Is it better than the Spirit Barrage meta? No. Is it better than Mystic Ally either way? No. You know, just kind of middle of the road and probably won't be used. For supports, like every season, support Crusader is not a thing. They're still in last. And for casuals, the reason the decent selling point here is they start with Invoker. Invoker is pretty powerful, and it's very good right off the bat. You put Invoker on, and you're already going to be ready to do some damage. So if you start there and you get that set from your Hadrix gift, you will do okay. Put all that together, and we have them in 5th. You know, it's just a really powerful class, but it just can't quite connect on any particular level to move any higher. Their best builds are Bomb, Heaven's Fury, and Invoker. And in Season 26, it's hard to say exactly what to fix, so I would love to see them give us a little bit of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Give us a real Hammerden and make it a top-tier build, and let's see Crusaders shine. Coming in at number 4, we have the Wizard. Wizards absolutely ruled the world in Season 24, and their best build that was carrying them got badly nerfed. But it didn't get nerfed bad enough because they're still in 4th. In speeds, Firebirds, without the mirror images, will still do very well. You're going to teleport forward and you're going to barbecue them. You're going to have to barbecue them yourself, but it's still going to perform very well. The Hydras are also an extremely good build. Chantoto Veers is there. There's a lot of good options for Wizard, so they're still kind of middle of the road. In solo push, again, a lot of their builds could clear 150. Firebirds and Twister, for example. Firebirds will do it no problem. It's just going to be a little bit harder after the nerf. Some other classes are moving up, so they move from 1st way down. In group DPS, it's hard to imagine when you're going to bring a Wizard. It's not used in any speed metas. It's not the Trash Clearer, and it's not the RGK. Maybe it can get kind of close in some scenarios, but there's just way too many other better options. Wizard is not doing well in group DPS right now. Support Wizard can provide a ton of things, but it's just completely outclassed by the support Demon Hunter. While the support Demon Hunter exists, there will be no reason to ever bring a Wizard. For casuals, there's fantastic news. You start with Firebirds. That's why it gets a 3. You get Firebirds, their best set. You don't have to use mirror images anymore. That does bring the power level down, but it's still a very, very godly build, and the playstyle got a lot easier. You don't have to rely on stupid mirror image pet AI to win. Now you just teleport forward, and by the way, With this build, you have infinite teleports, and you just barbecue everything. You can get a ton of value from Wizard from them giving you the Firebird set for free. Put all that together, and even after the big nerf, they're still in the middle of the pack. Wizards are still pretty good, and Firebird is still carrying. So their best builds are Firebirds, Hydra, Twister, and don't forget about Shantoto Veers. That's also a good build. For Season 26, one of their sets that's never used is Tal Rasha's. I'd love to see them buff it up, and let's get a real build going again. Coming in third, we have my favorite class, the Barbarian, and it's bringing a tear to my eye to see them lose their grip atop the class tier list, but that's the way that it goes. In speeds, they're in the middle of the pack at number 3 again. For exactly that reason, they're speedy. Whirlwind can zip through any map very quickly, making speed content very easily, but where Barbarians are starting to fall is in the power. They are not as powerful as a Firebird's Wizard. They are not as powerful as a Bomb Satyr. They're not powerful like a Marauder Demon Hunter, and they're not powerful like a Mystic Ally Monk. So that's why they're dropping all the way down to 7th in solo push. Yes, the Barbarian has multiple builds that will be able to clear 150 solo. Whirlwind will do it, Frenzy will do it, Leapquake will do it, and Hoda, the new Hoda build, will probably do it as well. But it will be a harder time for Barbarians, and the new seasonal theme does not buff them like it buffs some of the other classes, specifically some of the pet builds. So that, unfortunately, is bringing them all the way down to the bottom. It's the same story for group DPS. When are you ever going to bring a Barbarian to DPS? The Whirlwind speeds are so far behind so many other options that they don't exist anymore. There is no build that they have that can trash clear in high-level metas, and they can throw on Frenzy and be an okay RGK, but there's way better options, especially with new builds coming out like the Arashir Witch Doctor that can do it way better than them. They're last again. The thing that's always holding the Barbarian together is they are the best support in the game still. This means that any group play that's happening needs a Barb. A Barb always makes every single team better. And so that's the main thing. If they ever lose that, Barbarians are going to collapse in this tier list. For casuals, they drop to 4th. They don't have the greatest starting set. You get the Might of the Earth, which is fine, but you want to use that to transition into Whirlwind, which is one of the easiest things for casuals to use. You just spin around and you dominate. Overall, that's taken them all the way down from 1st to 3rd. And if all these other classes keep getting shiny things, and if Barbarians ever lose their support role in every single group build in the game, they're going to be in huge trouble. The best builds are Whirlwind, Hoda, Frenzy, Leapquake, and Z-Barb. And for Season 26, their worst build by far is Raycors. We need a rework on that. Coming in number 2, we have the Demon Hunter, and 2 seems like the right spot for them, considering their ranks are 2-2-5-2-2-2. The Demon Hunters are really good everywhere. They got the brand new Marauder build, which is extremely powerful, and it's really easy to play. Anybody can enjoy this. One of their already really good builds, Impale, got buffed. Now it's even better. And of course, they also have the God DH, and they're also the second best support class behind Barb. And some people are making the argument that maybe one day the Demon Hunter may be the best. As long as Barbarians have Rage Flip and can stomp everything and pixel everything for you, I think they'll still be fine. But the Demon Hunters are knocking. They're knocking everywhere, and they are an amazing class. They're super speedy with God. In solo pushing, they're going to be able to crush 150 with Marauders. You are just going to be able to annihilate it. And again, it's such an easy build. I think everyone's going to get some of their highest clears ever on the Demon Hunter coming next season. In group DPS is where they start to fall a little bit. Yes, they do have some power, but in speeds, their best damaging thing is Marauders, but Marauders is a little bit slow. In group DPS for speeds, you usually have to zip on through, and it's hard to understand how Marauders will fit in there. And then for the metas, again, Marauders is decent, but it can't trash clear like some of the other builds can. God DH can't do it either. Impale is a decent RGK, but there's much better options like the new Arashir build for Witch Doctors. So unfortunately, in groups, Demon Hunters are going to fall down a little bit, but the God Speeds are still pretty good as well. Support's their second best. They bring such nice things. They bring such an increase in damage to everybody that everybody wants to support Demon Hunter in their group. For casuals, they're amazing. Starting build is Impale, which just got buffed. And a lot of times, if you follow my seasonal leveling guide, you have a 50% chance to start with a Carlay's point. And that's the weapon that you need for Impale. So you have a godly set to start from, and you can build into whatever you want. Or if you don't feel like it, you can just stay as Impale and climb the ranks that way. You got 1,000,002s. They have to finish in second overall. And their best builds are Marauder, God, Impale, and ZDH. And something to look at for Season 26 is Natalia's kind of sucks. Let's get a buff there, and let's get it up to speed. So how did the class that got no changes to it do in terms of the rankings? The Season 25 Monk is light years and light years ahead of every other build. It's not even close. They're the best at everything except supporting. And so how exactly did this happen if the build didn't change? Well, first of all, people figured out how godly the build was last season, and the only build that was better than it, the Broken Firebirds, got crucified, right? Because it lost its mirror images, and so it's falling down back to planet Earth. So that bumps it up, but the seasonal theme caters to the monks so well as well. The Soul Shard, Dregs of Lies, which buffs pet builds, is just making it even stronger. And another huge, massive buff that it's getting is, remember back on the slide where it says pets now properly spawn Oculus rings? This is huge for the monk. So their damage is out of this world. And I don't expect them to be nerfing it going into Season 25, but I would say with 99% certainty, this is going to be the last time you see the Fire Mystic Ally Monk in this form. There's no way it will stay for Season 26. It's going to be nerfed. But if it goes like this in Season 25, the monk is going to rain hell down upon the minions of Diablo. Okay, so how can I explain these rankings? Well, you put on the Mystic Ally build, and you're the best at everything. You're the best at absolutely everything. You're the best in speeds, you're the best in T16, you're the best in bounties, you're the best in speed farming, you're the best in solo pushing, you're the best trash clearer, you're also the best RGK. I mean, you don't even need teammates. In fact, I was thinking of something funny. I think what a team could do next season, I think this is very possible, and I don't know. I don't know if I will have the chance to try this. I think you could make a Mystic Ally Monk and open a 4-player 150 and clear it by yourself. So you have 4 people open the Greater Rift, you go in by yourself, and everybody else just has a pizza party in town, and you just clear the whole thing, and it's done. I think it's possible. That's the level of power that we're talking about here with the seasonal theme. Monks are still 4th in support, no changes there. The best build for Season 25 for all classes by far is Ina Mystic Ally. If you're playing a monk, I mean, there's no point to play anything else. You might as well play that. It's the best in everything. But for Season 26, when the nerf eventually comes, I would hope that they only nerf the Fire Rune. The Fire Rune is out of control, but there's also another beautiful rune for the speed content, which I don't think is overpowered, and that's the Water Rune. And I would love for that to stay exactly as it is. But when the axe comes, please just apply it to the Fire Rune, and I guess we welcome our monk overlords next season. So let's quickly pause on this screen so you guys can see the ranking summary. I feel very bad for Witch Doctors. This was the season they were supposed to erupt, but after thinking about it and discussing it for several hours, I think they're still last. Necro and Satyr could potentially be switched because Necros have rats and they're such a good support, but Satyrs do overall have a little bit more power and they're better for casuals, so maybe it's slightly better. But really next season is all about monks, man. if you make any class other than a monk, you're going to watch what the monks can do, and you're going to be like, shit, I should have made a monk, man. And we can quickly peek at the best builds by category. I didn't put anything in 5th through 7th for Trash Clear and RGK because no one's going to play anything except for the things that I listed. Honestly, I could have taken it out for support as well because nobody plays Z-Wiz, Z-Witch Doctor, or Z-Satyr either. But look at the first row. Monk, 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 monk. Oh, just kidding, Z-Barb. One more slide for you guys. Let's look at the best builds by class. Here they are. Maybe I missed a couple of things. Again, the monk actually has a lot of extremely good options. Even if they deleted Mystic Allies out of the game, it would still have Wave of Light, and Wave of Light is amazing. So even if they get rid of Mystic Allies, they're still going to have a top tier build. But I mean, you got to try it next season. Believe me. Just believe me. Trust me. You got to try it. Well, that is all for this tier list, guys. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Let me know if you liked the new slides. I took some time. Again, I had to rebuild it because I lost my computer. So I tried to make it look a little bit more modern, a little bit more clean. So let me know if I was successful at that, or just let me know if I suck. That's fine too. Yeah, I hope this has helped guide your decision. And remember, I do mean it. Play whatever is fun for you. But yeah, I mean, monks are going to dominate. Everybody knows it. You can ask other people. They'll tell you the same thing. And we'll see if Blizzard sneaks in a nerf there, but that's usually not what they do. They usually let it go for a season or two. It's only 1 season old, so we'll have some fun with it before it eventually goes away in Season 26. Anyway, guys, I'm out. I'm going to be pushing the last 2,000 keys that I have in this final week of Season 25. I'm pushing hardcore. So if I die, I die. Otherwise, we're going for glory. So if you want to, stop by the stream and we'll try to get that done. Otherwise, I got many more videos coming out for you guys. I'm going to be doing, of course, the Marauder DH guide, and we have to do a leveling guide. And then I'll do some practice leveling runs that I'll upload and try to clear them as fast as I can. And we'll do a final patch note review whenever it comes out, but I'm not expecting too many things. They already made a ton of changes, so I think this is pretty much how it's going to go. I hope you guys have an amazing time in Season 25. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.